In stock trading, the thing we have to learn about is not the market, it's ourselves. We need to understand ourselves. And then, as we come into successive understandings, and you never understand yourself all at once. So as we come into successive understandings, we then understand the market successively better. Just as an example, I tried various types of trading, and one day I was watching, this kid told me about a trader named Noor, and he puts up films of his trades as they're happening. They're options trades, and they move very quickly, and his trades usually go for a couple of minutes, 10 minutes. His movies are short. So, and then when the trade's over, he stops talking. And during the trade, all he does is grunt, sort of, he says a few words, But when I watched the movie, I said, that's what I like. And that was something that I had learned about myself years ago, and I have learned the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that's really what it's like to learn about ourselves. We learn something about ourselves and then forget it or don't apply it. And then we get smacked in the face, sometimes in a good way, by something that we like and enjoy. And when we get that smack, which might be a very enjoyable smack to get, we go, oh, wow, yeah, that's what I like, that's what I want. And mainly what learning is discovering what you want. We learn what we want. Those are always our big discoveries, although there are other kinds of discoveries. I was saying that I get a lot from making these movies, and I get a lot more from listening to them later. And the other day I listened to the movie I made before this about decisions. And later I learned about decisions, which isn't in the movie. And the thing I learned is the difference between decisions and choices. It started when I was doing a demonstration for Franny and Greg about decisions and choices. It's a very simple thing. Decide to put your hand on your head, then choose to put your hand on your head. Then, okay, put your hand on your head. Which was that, a decision or a choice? So, that was sort of a framing of it, but later I just basically came up with a definition, which is that decisions take time to make and are made by continually reversing or just altering or modifying what you're deciding. And choices are instantaneous and irreversible. Neither is better than the other. And one is represented by slow thinking and the other is represented by fast thinking. You know, I was thinking about the guy who wrote Thinking Fast and Slow, Kahneman. He won the Nobel Prize. He basically invented decision theory. These guys were two Israeli psychologists. The other one was Tversky, and they were partners of a sort. There's a marvelous book about them that I highly recommend, and it basically sort of describes the same things that Kahneman described in Thinking Fast and Slow, his book, which is a lot longer and a lot less fun to read, although it is fun, and he has a sense of humor. But Michael Lewis wrote this book on the Kahneman-Tversky partnership called The Undoing Project, and it is much, more readable in my opinion. It's just enjoyable. I got the audio of it. It's probably about 10 hours or something, maybe not even. And I got the audio of Thinking Fast and Slow, which is a lot longer than that. Anyway, but I did enjoy both books, and then I realized that it's really a lot simpler. You see, most of the shorthand that people use to decide things or choose or make their choices is more like just they go after what they want. And so, for example, if somebody wants trading to be easy, they just place a trade. And it's not, controlled by any of the things that, is talked about in decision theory. It's not even really about their biases or whatever. It's just, they want it to be easy, so they plan. This thing looks like it's going up, so they buy it. And you can call it recency bias or anything else, but really, what it is the person wants trading to be easy. He's here now, and it looks like this is going up, so he buys it. And then a lot of people turn that into a much longer process, but it's just basically the same thing. I want it to be easy. And in my long process of analyzing this, it looks like it's going up, so I'm going to buy it. I don't know if that's the best example, but it's the one I've got right now. So, I gotta stop saying, when I think about people that I have tried to help, and I even did these prayers with them where we say what we want, and I don't think any of them ever found out what they wanted. And when they talk to me, later those conversations became clues for me to use, and I would see, oh, he wanted this, oh, and he wanted this, and he wanted this, and he wanted this, but it never amounted to them knowing what they wanted. So I wasn't able to help them find out what they actually wanted, which is the only thing that matters. And, you know, if a person, for example, actually, this might be a better example for this. We have a lesson in the Webb College about proofs. People have nameable proofs that they carry around, and sometimes the proofs come from past lives. And they're trying to prove something that they may have actually needed to prove in a past life, or just something that they came to want to prove. Or that could come from this life. Like, for example, I had a patient who, his mother was a sadist, and she tortured him emotionally and physically when he was a child, under the guise of disciplining him or whatever. But she kept setting him up to get punished, and then punishing him. And when he was in therapy with me, after a while, I noticed this process happening in him, but I never really understood it till now, where he wanted to prove that his mother was wrong, and that he wanted to prove to her that she was damaging him. And finally, he just decided to drop it. It was the weirdest thing, but after a while, he just seemed to, it became a matter of indifference to him whether or not his mother damaged him. And he just went on with his life, going after what he wanted. This was a guy, his name was Paul Foley, and this was a guy who actually got what I should have been wanting him to get and realizing that he was getting from therapy. So this is an awakening for me right now, right here, on the big show. I am realizing that I actually helped this guy when I was his therapist. I didn't even know it. I kept trying to go on. Maybe there was something else I wanted, or I wanted to prove something. God, I'll have to look at it more after the movie, after I finish making this movie, but that's a pretty good example that a person can be, like somebody was talking to me about sabotaging herself. She might be trying to prove something to somebody else with the behavior that she thinks is self-sabotage. Also, there are a lot of lessons in the Webb College that might just be, based on basic things that people want. Like inertias might just be wanting to go in the same direction or wanting to do the same things the same way over and over again. It could be as simple as that. And you know, another thing about learning, people, a lot of, like, I think probably most people are averse to learning. And the reason is that, well, when was the last time you watched Murder on the Orient Express? Because there's something in that movie about this. The Albert Finney version, though, not the Branagh version. I don't remember the Branagh version very well. But I just watched the Finney version again. And when he's solving the crime, he's in there saying, I am the one who needs my head examined. I am the one who is stupid because I did not see for the longest time all of these ridiculous clues that you were feeding me to misdirect me. I couldn't resist. But it's true that people hate learning because when you learn, you have to admit, God, I'm such an idiot. You know? And it's especially true of learning about yourself. Because when you learn about yourself, you discover that you have been, you know, just living the wrong way. And that you need to change. That you actually want to change and don't like yourself the way you are. So if you were wondering why you hate yourself, that's my mantra. You know, I hate myself. I hate myself. Because I'm always learning about myself.